Welcome to week 9 of Manifest Weight Loss Podcast. We are in week 9 of a 12-week series where we take metaphysics and we apply it to our weight loss journey. This week's episode is called Reignite. It's all about how do we keep momentum? How do we keep the spark going? And ultimately, how do we get ourselves back on the wagon if we feel like we've fallen off? This is not just about weight loss. This is life. When we take on creating something, we want to manifest it. Sometimes we get disempowered. Sometimes we lose sight of where we're headed. And how do we keep ourselves in the game? How do we keep ourselves empowered? How do we even have fun along the way? That's what today's episode is. So I love the analogy of taking a road trip. And this road trip is like a metaphysical road trip. So we're taking a journey. We start with where do we want to go? Where are we headed? And so in previous weeks and episodes, I've talked a lot about knowing your what and knowing your why. What do you want and why do you want it? So creating this future that you want to have be your new reality is ultimately the start of your road trip. Getting in your car and plugging in the destination and saying where you want to go and why you want to go there helps the universe, helps you along the way to tell you, to guide you, to give you insights, to show you paths that are along the way. So the first things first, you want to know your what and your why. The week 1 of the program we spend a whole week really carving out what it is you want and why you want it. In the terms of today's episode, I like to see it as every morning when you wake up, it's like you're taking the 24-hour cycle of a road trip. So as soon as you wake up, how quickly can you plug in where you're headed? So when I wake up in the morning, I have personally set a 5-minute timer. As soon as I get up and walk the dogs, I immediately come in and I set my timer. It's been a pattern that I've created for 2 years now. It's so ingrained that during those 5 minutes of sitting and meditating and carving out my why and saying what my what is and visualizing where I'm headed, it at this point has spilled over to as soon as I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking about it. So there's no right way to do this. However, the power comes in when we wake up. What's the first thing we're thinking of? If you're thinking of like where you're headed and what you're creating, that is going to have such a powerful impact on your mindset, how you feel, what actions you take in the morning. So, one amazing benefit to keeping yourself empowered and inspired is to start cultivating this morning routine where you can connect to you. You connect to your why and you connect to your what, and you can feel that this is where I'm headed. When we plug in the journey and we say, this is where I'm going, it helps put into perspective and it really helps cultivate your mindset so that throughout the day, you are almost like, you're in the law of vibration, that you are now in alignment with that future self, that future place. You're having the future pull you towards it, and you're having it pull towards you. And so that vibration, the match, is ultimately where we want to get to. If we can vibrate on that level continuously, we are building the momentum. It's the fuel in the vehicle, so to speak, that gets us to the destination. The more we are in alignment with our journey, the easier the journey becomes. We are human beings, though, period, end of story. We live in a law of duality. Soon as we say we want something, you just wait. The opposite will show up. Perfect example, wanting to create peace may open up chaos. Why? So that we can practice being peaceful. And then when we can be peaceful amongst the chaos disappears and peace remains. It is a cycle that we cannot avoid. And so when we create a new destination and where we want to be, we want to just embrace the fact that sometimes the opposite shows up. We don't like it. We don't want it. But that's the 3D world, cause and effect, law of duality. It's there to help the journey and help us evolve beyond where our current circumstances are. So, starting off our morning with this sense of where we're headed and why is that juice we want to begin the day with. And then as we start about our day, the universe's job is the how and the when. How it shows up is imagine yourself driving your vehicle. You've plugged in the destination, and the dashboard is kind of giving you hints on where to go. It can't be too fun if the universe is just going to pave the way, and that won't be a fun journey. So, of course, it shows you paths that you can choose. How do you know what path to choose? It's the one that lights you up. It's the one that inspires you. It's the one that when you look out and you get kind of giddy and excited, that's how you know you want to lean towards that. And because you're in the driver's seat, you can now steer yourself towards what inspires you. If you overhear something, if you get a phone call, if just being present in life will have things resonate or not. And for us to know which way we want to go, it takes us tapping inward to how being connected to our own internal compass on what we feel. So as something shows up in your day, how does that thing resonate with you or not? How do we know? We need to check in. Some people in their lives have created a separation and a disconnect to our own internal regulation. And so that it in its own might be its own journey of like, I don't even know what I feel. I don't even know what I want. I don't even know if I like something. And that is absolutely true for many people. And so along the way in our journey, by embracing times where we can just connect to ourselves, reignite, reconnect with our own inner compass is a wonderful practice to cultivate along the way as well. So, can you carve out time in your day to meditate, to find yourself again, to reconnect? That alone may be an intention you want to create is I want to create a knowing, an internal knowing. I want to create trusting of myself. I want to create whatever you feel is what you want to have so that you can connect inward and trust your intuition is what you want to create. So that in alone might be a journey. And for others, you might already have that feeling and that connection. So as you wake up and go about your day, we want to use that compass inside of us to help steer us along the way. We will seek joy. We will seek paths of least resistance. That's when we know we are vibrating at the level. That's when things become effortless and easy, when we can sink in, connect inward, and trust that we are being guided, makes the journey very fun and very easy because we're essentially using the path of least resistance. So as you go about your day, using the law of vibration in metaphysics to guide us to find our next step. Naturally, because this is a journey, there are times when life happens. We get caught up in others things, and we have maybe forgotten that we have connected with our journey, and we're not as mindful. We're not feeling that power and that clarity, and we've got taken away. Maybe we got something happened in our lives where we got swept up into something else, and that happens in life. And so the moment we become mindful again of, whoa, I am not where I wanted to be. I don't feel like I'm in the driver's seat right now, or I feel like I've lost my way. That moment right there is actually pure mindfulness, because you've woken up, so to speak, and you've then realized that you've got yourself off track. That is amazing right there. That knowledge, that connection to, wait a second, I've lost my way. So celebrating that in that moment of being woken up, you are now back in the driver's seat. And all it takes is like, okay, let me just plug back in. What do I want? Where am I going? Getting ourselves back. I'm in the driver's seat. I know where I'm headed. I'm ready again. And that's all, that's what it is we can become distracted, and then we find ourselves back to being mindful, distracted and mindful. And the more we can practice catching ourselves in the distraction and bringing ourselves back, the more we practice it, that stronger that muscle becomes. And then it can actually become automatic. So it's practice. And so if we find ourselves off track, getting ourselves back, being mindful, connected, putting ourselves back in the driver's seat, plugging back in our destination, we are now back and headed and mindful of our journey. Some things that might happen along the way in our journey is, number one, we become disempowered. So we're driving along, things are going great. You know, we have a plan, we're working our plan. Sometimes we all of a sudden, it occurs as all of a sudden, we're just disempowered. I want to assert that if we're feeling disempowered, something happened just prior. So we were going great guns, everything was great, life is good. Now I'm disempowered. We want to connect back to, well, what just happened? And usually what just happened ends up being a thought or a feeling, or something happened which triggered a thought or a feeling that caused us to be disempowered. And what I want to say in these moments is, put on the brakes, put on your signal, put on the brakes, turn in, pull over, because we want to call a timeout. I call it let's declare a breakdown, because if we're feeling disempowered and we're in the driver's seat, we have basically, disempowered means that we've lost connection to who we really are and the powerful person that we are. And we've lost connection to source, to the all-powerful universe. That's all that's happened. We've just kind of lost our way. So if you're ever feeling disempowered, put your signal light on, pull over, let's put the hazards on, okay? And let's just take a moment, because we want to declare a breakdown. And what that means, when we speak the language of time out, hold on a sec, I'm drawing a line in the sand, we're halting the path that the disempoweredness would have taken us. We are now metaphorically pulled over, which is great, because now we're no longer going in the direction of being disempowered. The moment we pull over and put on our hazards, we're like, hold on a second. I've lost my way. I wasn't on the course I want to be. I need to reset. I need to find my bearings, because I want to connect back to my why, my purpose, and ultimately the journey and my destination that I'm heading. It's very, very powerful when we can become mindful of our feelings, of saying, hold on a second here. I'm not in line with my purpose here. I've lost my way. I'm declaring a breakdown. I'm pulling over and I'm getting myself back to me. I'm regrouping and I'm reminding myself, where am I headed and why am I headed there? Only then, when we can find ourselves back, we've composed ourselves, and we are ready to be the driver again, and we plugged in our what and our why, should we turn our signal light on, turn off the hazards, and get back on the journey. We want to be the empowered driver because that's the one who's having the fun. That's the one who's laughing and having a great time and who's making amazing memories on our road trip. So declaring a breakdown is huge, 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 huge in our journey. And it can stop us from going where we were headed. A great example is, um, you're plugging along, and then let's say you go out for dinner and you're just tempted. You're tempted and you get a dessert and you wish you didn't. You look back and you're, oh man, I was doing so good. And now all of a sudden you've spiraled and now you're disempowered. So, like I said before, it's not that moment, it's what happened just prior. There was a thought or a feeling that happened that had this disempowered feeling. What was it? Well, I ate the dessert and then I had a thought, I shouldn't have eaten the dessert. It's not the dessert that's the issue. It's not eating it. It's the thought and the feeling that we created about our actions that actually disempowered us. We can fully enjoy every piece of food on this planet without guilt, without shame, without remorse. We can actually be in joy and we can celebrate it. We can fully do that. That is absolutely our right and our capability. What I would hate for anyone is that side of guilt and shame alongside of that item. And so it's the disempowerment came from the feelings we added and the thoughts we added onto our action. So here we are, disempowered, feeling guilt and shame. We're going to put on our signal light, hit our hazards, and pull over because we're disempowered. Now I can set okay, what am I up to? Where am I headed? And I can take that on. The example of what I was getting to was, if we continued on the journey and we didn't pull over and we didn't declare a breakdown, is we're having dinner, we have the dessert, we feel guilt and shame, and then what we do is, well, I've already screwed up. I might as well just start over on Monday. And then the weekend becomes this weekend where we're no longer mindful. We're eating whatever, we don't care because Monday is the new diet, and here we go. And so by being able to pull over metaphorically the moment we feel disempowered, allows us to then regroup and recenter, like within minutes. Within minutes, we can be empowered and inspired. We can say to ourselves, it was just a dessert. I can add perhaps some self-love, forgiveness, just letting go of those feelings that we had, appreciating, admiring the dessert itself, saying your gratitude for somebody making that dessert, seeing the joy on everybody's faces going out for dinner. Like, we really can take that moment where we feel disempowered, remove the thoughts and the feelings, and be left with that experience again of just appreciating it for the moment that it was. And can we let go, get back on, focus ourselves so that we can turn off the hazards, click our signal light, and get back powerfully on the path that we want. So if we can pull over and do what we need to do to find our path again and get back on, we have saved ourselves, well, a weekend of not spiraling even more. We have recommitted ourselves in the moment within minutes. And now, instead of it being a weekend that we've lost and just said, it's the weekend, I'll start Monday, we are actually powerful within minutes and back in the game immediately. These are powerful processes. We live moment to moment. We don't have to wait till Monday to start a diet. We can let go and recommit in the moment. So, when we feel, so let's talk about putting on the hazards, putting on our signal light and pulling over. Like, there we are feeling disempowered. What do we do? Like, here we are, we've pulled over, we're disempowered, we've lost our way, we've forgotten our why. Here's where I want to like go through the list of things that we can do. You pick the one that fits for you. Some days it might be one thing, other days it might be something else. It's really just finding what fits for you in the moment. So the first thing is, like I said, is really dissecting. Can you find the moment where something happened? Because in that moment, it's usually a thought or a feeling. And if we can take the thought and take the feeling out of it and really just pinpoint what happened. So it's like there's what actually happened, and then there's whatever we're making it mean. It's the what we make it mean is where we become disempowered. It's not what happened. What happened is what happened. And we as humans, if we can get to what happened, can actually find empowerment. So taking a moment, tracing back, seeing the thought or the feeling that actually shifted everything. Can we let that go? Can we forgive ourselves? What can we do? So, can we forgive or let go in those moments so that we can really see what happened is what happened? Giving ourselves that space to just be with be with exactly what happened as it is, allows a space to open up where now empowerment can come and seep in. If you try it, you'll get what I'm saying is you create a space and then it gets filled in with a new possibility, a new feeling, a new way of looking at it. And it's like, oh, all of a sudden, we're not gripped by the thoughts. We're not gripped by the feeling. We are then just being with it. And all of a sudden, you can feel it. You'll start to feel a shift. You've let go of what you made it mean before. And then all you're left with is, okay, I had a piece of pie. All right. And I'm actually not bombarded by it anymore. I'm actually fine with it, or I'm ready to recommit. And this is a new moment, and you're going to be inspired by that moment. And then when you get inspired, you want to take action in that direction. When you start to feel inspired and ready, that means you're ready to flick on the signal light, turn off the hazards, and pull back on your path as an empowered person in the driver's seat, back on path, back on your journey. Other things you can do to get yourself back inspired and be lit up so that you can be fully the driver and be in the driver's seat of your life is to celebrate everything. We do not celebrate enough for the amazing and miraculous things that, for first of all, who we are and this miraculous life that we're living. Very easy to be distracted because thoughts and feelings can be very heavy and they can almost take over. Our mindset can be so into what we're dealing with that we can lose sight of just the glorious moments that are available. So when we choose to say, yeah, I'm going to celebrate something right now. So maybe you've hit the hazards, turned on the signal, pulled over, declared a breakdown. In that moment, start to scan your life and say, what can I celebrate right now? First of all, celebrate that you were able to pull over and take this moment. That is huge because that's transformation. That's being in control and charge of how you're thinking and how you're feeling and your willingness to really work on creating a space that's powerful and inspiring. So what can you celebrate? Um, can you inject fun along the way? What makes you laugh? Maybe take some music along the way and add some music and fun to your your journey, metaphorical journey, add some fun, add some play, add some laughter, like releasing the significance of where we went can really help create empowerment and inspiration. So once we connect back to, once we've let go of what had us pull over in the first place, and you've plugged your signal light on and you're back in the game, the journey really is being in alignment with your connection and your why. What gets us on the path and continued to drive is that continual connection to your why. So whether it's waking up in the morning, whether it's having items around your house that remind you of your why and remind you of where you're headed, keeping yourself mindful, present, in the moment can be the best place to sit and be, because then our thoughts and our feelings won't try and pull us away from where we're headed. Laughter. Can you visualize an amazing road trip where you're having fun, you're laughing? What ends up happening is all of a sudden you're like, whoa, we're here already? That was so fast. Why? Because we were having fun. We're having fun along the way. So how can you inject fun? Another great way to continue the journey and be ignited and lit up and inspired is having a bunch of friends who are on the same wavelength as you, who light you up and you have a great time. There's nothing more fun than a road trip with friends who are supportive and are on the journey with you or beside you, or they're your cheerleader. By being surrounded by people who light you up and cheerlead you is a surefire way so that if you feel in the moment that you're feeling disempowered, they're the ones that are around you. They'll go, whoa, 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 we got you. Okay, I'm going to change the music station. We're going to like play a game. They're going to get you back in the game because they know you and they want you to succeed as well. The other way that our journey can be more direct and to get us there is, are our belief systems in line with our journey? So it's almost like the belief system is the pedals, the gas, and the brake. So if we have a belief system that matches what our intentions are and we believe it to be true, you're pressing the gas pedal. You're getting there quicker. You just know it's going to happen, and you just have to do what you need to do to get there. We are not in the way when our belief system is in alignment. What happens is, if we have some beliefs that maybe aren't quite in line with where we're headed, that's like putting the gas pedal on, but also another foot on the brake. Yeah, we'll drive, we'll get there, but can you see how that's not optimal? Certainly not good for the car, but it's putting resistance in our journey. Beliefs are not fixed. Our belief systems are not fixed. They come from the past. We might have evidence for what we believe. We might be able to grab a story and say, yeah, but look at this. This is why. This is why. Look, show. But that's not necessarily so right now. That was true back then. So our belief systems, albeit they're there to make us safe and protected, if they're not in alignment with where we're going, we might want to put our hazards, pull over, and take a moment and just take a look at these belief systems and give it some space to be able to breathe and say, I get that I've created you to keep me safe, but I'm actually up to something new now. And you are no longer supporting me in this. I have to find a way to let you go. So an example of this in the real life would be, losing 20 pounds is easy, but losing 50 pounds is so challenging. Why? Because I've lost 20 pounds very effortlessly, but as soon as I want to start to lose 50, it's not easy. So I have a belief system that is now I want to lose 50 pounds. Maybe that's where I'm headed. But the belief system's like, okay, yeah, sure, you can lose 50. 20 will be easy, but 50, well, good luck to you. So there's the metaphorical foot on the brake when I'm trying to get to my dream. If I were to be able to take that belief system and say, okay, what's going on here? Why do I think 20 is easy, but 50 is not? What's going on? Oh, right. I remember this time, that time, this evidence. But is it the truth? Like, is it actually true? And if not, can I let it go? Can I find a new way to look at this? So being able to challenge the belief is probably one of the hardest ways, but we're not stuck in our belief systems. We are absolutely able to pull a belief system, analyze it, and challenge it. I have a really great process that I use in the course, which allows us to take a belief system and challenge it. And essentially, all we need to do is give it space. I'm not going to lie, the ego loves to avoid this. It can be slippery to try and grab and actually take it. But when we have willingness and commitment, and certainly the determination, like you can almost feel it, like, okay, I'm ready to challenge this belief. I'm ready to let this belief go. All we need to do is just say to ourselves, what if this isn't true? Then what? That's it. What if this belief system is not true? Then what? And just sit with it. What is magical about it is by posing that question, what if this is not true? Now what? Our brain loves to answer questions. Our brains are going to start to poke at it and take it apart and question it and try and figure out this mysterious question we just asked ourselves, which is, well, if it's not true, then what? All of a sudden, we allow ourselves a new belief to enter in, a belief that we didn't even know yet because we're creating it in the moment. And by allowing ourselves to just take a moment and give that belief system space to be, allows it to dissipate. And once that belief system dissipates, we then can allow for a new belief system to manifest in real time, in the moment. So if all of a sudden it's like, well, what would it look like if 50 pounds was just as easy as 20? I can't imagine it, but it's possible. And giving ourselves that space to just be curious and wonder and question gives it that space it needs to emerge. And it's the universe who's going to help you discover and uncover something you don't know that you don't know. And it will give it to you. And all of a sudden, boom, it'll click and you'll go, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I really can see it. And why did my friend's picture just flash in my head? Wow, she dropped 70 pounds in 7 months. She thought that was easy. All of a sudden, new evidence starts to occur. When we can challenge our belief system, give it the space, and allow for something new to enter, that is the moment we will become empowered again and inspired again, because now that belief system has loosened its grip and is no longer holding us back. The foot is no longer on the brake. Even just allowing that foot off the brake gives us the momentum we need to move forward. So belief systems are very, very powerful. And we want to acknowledge that we have belief systems, that some of them are holding us back and many of them are helping us propel to our future. So these are all amazing places to look, our belief systems, celebrating ourselves, adding gratitude to our journey can we look around and say, wow, this is a fantastic journey. I can't believe I get to be on this journey and look how far I've come. And I am enjoying being on this journey with these people. And I'm so grateful. I feel empowered on this journey. There's so much to be grateful for. So can we be grateful? Can we celebrate? Can we challenge our beliefs? And can we add forgiveness? Can we forgive ourselves for our past choices and forgive ourselves for anything that has been in the way? And that's okay. Let it go. Forgiveness is a way of letting go. And those are all really powerful processes that we can do. Reconnecting to our why, giving ourselves permission to take a moment, reconnect. And when we're ready and lit up and inspired, put that signal light on, merge back in, unclick the hazard button, and be on your journey. And it really is a journey. And I'm hoping that you have so much fun along the way and that you're listening to tunes and you're just enjoying yourself so much that all of a sudden you arrive there and you can't even believe it happened. That's what I wish for you. And that's what's happening for week 9. Have a great week. Hey, it's Kelsey from The Junction. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like and subscribe and share it with anyone you think this could be of value to. Also, if you're looking for more accountability and structure around your weight loss and you're enjoying how the metaphysics can really work in your life, I've created a 12-week weight loss course designed for you. It has daily check-ins, daily lessons, questions, and prompts for you to really immerse yourself in the content and have lasting results. Go to junction.today/weight loss to find out more.